talk, Andrew. I got him. Come over here, Andrew. Do you know what Andrew was doing during the rain delay? This is fantastic.
No
Coach.
telling. What was he doing?
Oh, this is good. I'll enjoy. Okay, you're up. Go ahead.
Well, I got designated the go-to pizza guy. I made a pizza run
For who?
For the referees, the entire crew. Ran over to get some pizza, brought it to them in their locker room. They were huddled up, and it looked a little chilly. I think they appreciated it. They thanked me at midfield after the game. And
awesome.
Now, they missed 2 calls right after the first 3 plays.
I didn't get them breadsticks.
You didn't get them
I guess I
breadsticks.
should've
Wings
got
next time.
I think they ordered pizza from the wrong pizza restaurant.
That's what
I
happened.
think.
Yeah,
So
they
let's
didn't have
give you a big round
Appreciate
of applause.
it, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for giving up one for the team. Coach, let's look at some of the individual numbers from the game. You said earlier, halftime or something of a game, that once Abu starts valuing the football, he'll get more playing or more touches.
Yeah.
21 carries and 128 yards. Good to see him do that.
No, it was, and if he was here, he better admit to it because he saw it on tape that, on a couple of those power plays when that backside guard pulls, he missed a couple of runs where if he stays inside the guard, it might have been – he might have had 50 more yards rushing.
Wow.
Probably
Yeah.
could have flipped the game. But,
Yeah.
but it was good to see him break a run. And his yard – was he 6 yards of a rush? So that
6.1.
So that was good. And so, he's working hard. He's trying to get better for us. And, it was good to see. That was a very – and I don't mean this disrespectfully to Tennessee Tech, but it was a very scrappy defense. I mean, they do a nice job. They beat Murray the week before. They'd held Tennessee Tech to really 3 points because Tennessee State, had scored on defense, against them. So I think they're a credible defense, and they're going to win, a few more games in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, again, what do we know? But you think about how this game might go. I didn't expect it to be a baseball score at halftime. It was 7-3.
Well, yeah,
and
right.
Both, and you were moving the football. You just weren't scoring a lot of points.
Well, the first drive was really outstanding, and so it was good to see. We went 13 plays and put it in the end zone, and look, our plan worked and we executed, and I felt we could hold them, under 10 points. At least by halftime, but in my mind, I'm thinking, 14-3, 17-3 at half is what you like to see. But give them credit, and we didn't execute, and we had a few, whether it be, just some poor play on our behalf, and we didn't execute, and had to get off the field.
Rhino just handed me a note. Abu has 999 career rushing yards now in 1.5 years at UTM. So if he'd done what you said he could have done, he had over 1,000.
I hope you're listening to Boo.
How about Jared Neal? Now, he does the 35-yard run, takes it to the end zone.
Big run.
I mean, wow. I mean, we've not really seen him run the football like he did in that game.
Big run, and we've kind of conceded to the fact that we need our quarterbacks to run. And, each week you're going to see them, do that more and more, not only in scrambles but design quarterback runs as well. And it was a great play. I mean, he'll be the first one to tell you that he didn't play the cleanest game. I mean, it was 15-20. We only threw the ball 20 times, and he may have missed 1 or 2 throws, but he just competed. He led us. He's tough. It was just a gutsy performance on his part, and and I thought the defense and the offense kind of rallied around him, and he had a lot of confidence, and it was a big time run.
It was, and he even eluded a tackle or two.
No, he did. He did. Now, he's probably, Manny's probably our fastest quarterback, but without a doubt. But Jared's tough. He's 200, a little over 200 pounds, and he's tough. He can take some hits and gets up,
what does it mean to your team? What does it mean to a team with a quarterback who can also run?
Well, I mean, it's now you can play 6 in a box, and we can match you, with a quarterback run, or outnumber you with our quarterback running. And you play 2-man, 2 high safeties, and man coverage underneath. Now your quarterback can take off and run. It certainly causes problems. We face it every week. You see what Jacksonville State does with their type of running quarterback, and by no means is Jared a runner. He's just a football player. He's a quarterback that has a tremendous strong arm, and and when he takes off and run and extends the play for us, and that's one thing he's got to continue to work on is he's throwing the ball well when he sets his feet, and then he's taking off and running. Now we've got to be able to move out of the pocket, extend the play. You see Aaron Rodgers do this every Sunday. He extends the play, but he's still able to keep his eyes up and make a big throw down the field on the run. And, and it segments the defense And, guys are able, and you talk about chunk yards.
Yeah.
He rips off, a 25-yard gain, and you're able to flip the field. So those are things I'm looking for Jared to improve on.
Can you be a quarterback and not be good on your feet?
There's some. I mean, some people may say, well, Peyton Manning's not good on his feet, but I mean, the guy's feet.
Well, he's 50 years old. No.
But he doesn't run. But his feet are always underneath him, and he's ready to throw. So you can do it in a multitude of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, if you can't run out of that pocket, you have to be. You've got to be that 6'5" guy and strong and stand in that pocket and make those throws. And so Jared's only 6 foot. And so sometimes he needs to get out of that pocket.
How about the effort of Tony Bell, who ends up with 8 tackles and 3 for loss in the game?
It's I think that's 3 weeks in a row now that Tony's been out on that edge, and those statistics. It's good to hear when I come in here. Linebacker, National Player of the Week, or whatever his accolades have been. And so that was good. Very proud of our defensive staff. Very proud of our defensive players. As I stated earlier, I don't care who you play, and you hold a team, to 3 points into the last 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
You've played well.
And then Nick Dance had a big game. Was a guy we've not talked about much.
Nick's a good player. He transferred here from Western Michigan. We recruited the heck out of him out of high school, out of Nashville. And, he wanted that FBS opportunity. So even though it was cold and a long way away, he went to Western Michigan. And as I kid him, I tell him he came back to his senses and came back home to Tennessee. I'm glad to have him. I mean, Nick's a good player, and he's been playing solid for us the last few weeks.
What was, after a game like that, which takes a really long time, I think we were on the radio for 6 hours, what was the mood in the locker room?
Well, it was, I was laughing about it. Been head coach long enough to know that, obviously we needed to win. Any win's great, but we needed to win. We'd lost several in a row. It was our first conference win. So, you knew there'd be excitement about that, but it's a bittersweet. Yes, we need to win. Yes, we're excited that we played well at home and got the win. Even in that excitement, there's still disappointment of where you are in the rankings.
Right.
So but we've got to get over that. We've got to push past that, and like I said, you got to modify what your team goals are. You want to know in the Sergeant York Trophy. That senior class still got an opportunity mathematically to, be 5-3 in the conference and, match what they did last year. 1 game short of 2012, what they did as sophomores.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't dwell over, as they say, spilt milk. And it's a lesson for me as a coach too. How many games have I walked in there against, what we would consider, I hate to say lesser opponents, but teams that we were favored against.
Right.
And you get a win, and you only win by 7, or you only win by 10, and you come in, and your celebration is not as joyful or ecstatic as it would have been if you would have won, 47-10 or something like that. And so, good lesson for all of us. Those wins are hard to come by. Enjoy them when they're there. There's a fine line between winning and losing. Whether it be Central Arkansas, the Southeast Missouri. You're sitting here 3-4, 4-3, some different conversations, but you're not. But we're not far off. We're not. I've been asked that, what have we got to do to get back? What have we got to do? Well, a couple things. Make 2 more plays in each one of those games.
Right.
And the conversation we're talking about is us in Tennessee State this week and how pivotal, this matchup is, which is no different than last year, the year before, and the previous years before that. So, the sky's not falling. You're going to be in some different cycles, but there's a lot of football left, and we're excited about this week's match.
Yeah, the thing is for the players, especially they're younger, is that the true way you're rewarded as an athlete for all the hard work you do is to get a win. And it was just nice to see them get a win because you've worked as hard or harder than anybody.
Well, they have. And now you're talking about a team that went out there Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday in pads. Mm-hmm. And as a head coach, you got to make those decisions. And I'm sure with the players, some of them, it wasn't a popular decision, but it was something I thought we needed to do because we need to be able to run the football in this game with their zone pressures, and we did that for 200, plus yards, and that was something that we needed to do, and I felt like we needed that extra day's work in pads, and a majority of the players responded, and the ones that didn't, I hope they see that. There's a reason we do things, and nothing's punishment. It's gives us the best opportunity to win, and so the guys deserved it, and that's why they got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Their bodies needed. Our off date's not until after that Mississippi State game. And so they needed time away from football, from that facility, let their bodies rest a little bit, and probably, be honest with you, today we were going to go out in pads, but it probably was a good thing that the rain came. One more day will be good, and we'll make this second half drive.
Interesting that you said I was going to wrap up the segment, but I just realized how difficult your job is, in that you said that the some players may have looked at it as punishment, others
Right.
looked at it as just this is what we got to do to win. That on your team, if you had a maturity level on each player from 0 to 10, 0 being the least, 10 to being the most, you probably range and scale from 1 to 10. So you're dealing with all different types, and some of it has to do with age, and just some of it has to do with personalities.
Well, I mean, I saw a thing the other day, Chip Kelly. I mean, what are the Eagles right now? They're 5-1 or something like that. Had a big win last night, and he gets so much credit for their scientific approach to practice and this, that, and the other. And one of his starting corner was complaining about that they get too many reps in practice and this, that, and the other. And I thought he handled it well. He said, you know what, he's entitled to his opinion. But bottom line is, I'm the head coach. All right, but not only that, but he said, hey, we take a lot of, we research and study to see, what is the number of reps, what do we need to do in order to be the most productive on that Sunday, and if you're tired, if you're, you need to let that trainer know we need to be able to rest you so you are able to play. So, but when you're dealing with 100 people,
it's hard if the players aren't buying into what you've got. It's got to be hard for you,
right? Well,
because you can only do so much.
There's peer pressure that goes with it. I mean, from the standpoint, when you're winning, right, then
it's easy.
It's easy, and you just roll. When you're losing, and I don't care if you're in Knoxville or you're at Auburn right now. I promise you at Mississippi State, they're probably feeling, that every decision they make is the right one and stuff. So, but you're right. When you're not number 1 ranked in the country and 6-0 like they are, and that's okay. I mean, heck. I've been an assistant coach before. I've been a player before. You just, but what you can't have is as we say, locker room lawyers and stuff like that.
Right.
Everybody's entitled to opinion, but
don't you think everybody in a managerial position deals with this, whether you're a shift leader at a factory?
You can't be
the
sensitive
difference
about
is
it.
with you as a coach is that you're dealing with 18 to 23-year-olds for the most part, which their maturity level can't be that of someone who's 30 just because they don't have the life experience.
Yeah, exactly. And there's certain ways to approach. You see a guy's body language, and you can tell that he's thinking, "Are we in full pads today on Wednesday?" And sometimes your reply to it may be, "Boy, I know you're ready to practice today because I know you want to play great tomorrow." And what's somebody going to say? No. And so there's different ways to approach it than just say, oh, you disagree with me, then you're wrong. I mean, that's not necessarily motivating to a player.
I'm a Knicks basketball fan, and Phil Jackson has taken over there as general manager, and they've been terrible since 1973. And he says that a play in practice on a Tuesday now in October is just as important as something that you might do. It might affect what you do in February. You agree with that?
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, and I think it's more, maybe not necessarily the play, but it's the mindset of, every play, approach every play in practice like it's the difference between, win the national championship, win the conference championship. And if you do that, how can you not get great work?
Right.
I make the comment all the time, don't confuse activity with achievement.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't just go out there and practice to be practicing and think that you're actually getting better. You run this play for a purpose. Why do you run this play? And what happens, thank you, Frank, and what happens if this happens on this play? How are you going to respond, and how would you block it, or how would you, adjust your route? And when you get enough players doing that with ability, I mean, it's got to start with ability, and then that's when you have an opportunity to get better.
And I feel if you do this in practice and you do it successfully and your mindset is right, it's got to give you confidence going into the game, knowing that you feel you have an advantage because you're well prepared.
Well, no doubt about it. And I'll use Jared Neal as a great example of that. I mean, there was a couple of, Jared's a very studious person, and he take notes, and there was a couple, things that he, may have missed the other day to where, he knew to read, to the right side of the field first. And, but when he made the mistake, and he got the ball to the back, and we still got a few yards, I can say, you missed your first read. I know. I know I did. Because he knew, and that gave us a chance to get to that next play and where he could do it right the next time. And so that's all you can ask. Nobody's going to play a perfect game, but be prepared. Be mentally tough. See the big picture of things. Be unselfish. And that's what I saw a football team doing that Thursday. So it was a lot of fun.
I was watching Neil come off the field after he did something, and you were talking to him. He took his helmet off, and he nodded his head 3 times and said, yes, yes, yes. You patted him on the back and walked away, and I thought, you know what? That's a good guy right there.
No, he is. He's a tough. You can't rattle him. And it was funny. We were watching Tennessee State game from last year, and they were an outstanding football team. And boy, we played so poorly early with penalties and mistakes, and our defense was keeping us in the game. And we threw a field goal, got blocked, and they scooped and scored. And we threw a pick 6. So they're up 21-0 before we've even got a first down. And just seeing him grow a little bit, watching that game with him today, and seeing how much better of a player that he is right now, that's kind of rewarding. It is, and a guy like that, I think he can lead this football team.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll talk about Tennessee State when we return with Coach Jason Simpson on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports.